So we need to add two things to both of our grenade launchers and our explosive barrels. So what we need to do to start is open our prefabs folder. We're going to start with the grenade. We're going to go to Weapons, Bonus, and open the grenade prefab. And we see we have this explosion light empty game object down here. That's good. That's what we want. What we actually want to do is select that and hit the open button. And now we're editing our explosion light prefab, which I guess we could have also just opened from within our project pane, but that's fine. We're going to enable it for a second. And what we're going to do is add a light. And what this light is going to be is is when our grenade explodes, we want it to give off light as well as play an explosion particle. So what we need to do with the light is we're going to keep the range at 10. Or actually, let's up the range to 20. Let's set the intensity to 3. And we're going to make the color this nice orange because we're going to be exploding it with like a fire, and we want to make sure that we're drawing or making an orange light color. Next, what we want to do is go back to our grenade prefab. We can disable this explosion light once more. We're going to go back to our grenade prefab, and in fact, what we want to do is open our grenade script. So it's going to be in the top object. That's going to be grenade. We're going to go up to the top, and we're going to say public game object light object. There we go. And then what we want to do is inside of our on collision enter, we're going to say light object dot set active to true. And then we're going to do the same thing in our explosive barrel script. We're going to go add a public game object light object, and then inside our on death variable, we're going to say light object dot set active is true. Great. So now when our explosives go off, either by hitting something or dying, they're going to turn the light on, which is good, but we actually need the light to do some stuff after it turns on. So we're going to go back into our explosion light prefab. Again, we can do that by selecting explosion light in our hierarchy, going to open, and we're going to hit add component, new script, and we're going to call this, what should we call this? We'll call this explosion light. There we go. And we can open that script up. And what we're going to do is say, we're going to delete our void update and void start methods. We're going to say light, my light, semicolon. We're going to say private void on enable. So that means when this object is turned on, we want to say my light equals get component light, open and close parentheses, and then we're going to say start coroutine quotation marks toggle light. What that's going to do is turn our light on and off for us, but we need to write the coroutine it's starting. So we're going to say I enumerator toggle light, open and close parentheses, and our curly brackets. And we're going to say while my light dot intensity is less than 3. And then our open and close brackets will say my light dot intensity is plus equal to 0.2f. And then in the next line we'll say yield return new wait for end of frame, open and close parentheses, and semicolon. So that means when we start this coroutine, while our light's intensity is less than 3, it's constantly going to add +2 to the intensity until we hit that value of 3. And then once it hits that value of 3, we're going to move on into the next block of code, which is while my light dot intensity is greater than 0, we want to say my light dot intensity is minus equal to 0.2f, and then that same yield return new wait for second, or I'm sorry, not wait for seconds, wait for end of frame. Oops. There we go. Perfect. So now when our light is turned on, it's going to get brighter and then turn itself off. And in fact, we're going to, I think we changed this up to 3 earlier. We actually are going to switch that back to 1, not 0, but 1. We wanted to start out emitting a little bit of light, but not too much. And since we did just create a script using the add component button, we need to move our explosion light into our created scripts folder. So we can actually drag that into the side panel here and find where it says scripts created and drop it right in there. There we go. That means we've now got our explosion light script set up in the correct spot. And we can quickly test that. Oh, we need to, before we test it actually, we need to assign our light object in our grenade prefab to this light object, just like that, explosion light. We also need to do the same thing for our explosive barrel. So go to weapon or resources, prefabs, props, explosive barrel. You'll see that light object thing. We don't have the light object prefab on our explosive barrel, so we've got to add one. So we're going to go back to prefabs, weapons, bonus, grab our explosion light barrel and drop it underneath our explosive barrel, and then drag that into our light object field once again. And, we've got all the same settings, so we can leave that as is. And now, before we test it, let's go ahead and add our particle effect. So while we're still in our explosive barrel, there's a particles folder in our prefabs folder, prefabs particles. We're going to grab explosion particle and drag that onto explosive barrel as well. And you'll see when I drag it out there, it does that nice explosion for us. That's exactly what we want. We're gonna drop that in there, and then we're gonna go back to our grenade prefab in weapons and bonus. Open that up. Double click it, and again, go back to the particles folder and drop explosion particle in there as well. Finally, go back into our grenade script, and we're going to say, let's see, we should say, underneath our light object.setActive, we're going to say get component in children particle system, open and close parentheses, .play. And that's going to play our particle system automatically for us. And we can actually just highlight this line, press Control or Command C, copy it over, and underneath our light object set active, we're going to hit play on that as well. So now, if we go back to our game, I know we've been jumping around a lot, but if we go back to our game and hit the play button, and we select our grenade launcher and we shoot it, see it flashes light and it does that nice particle effect for us. Same thing if we shoot our barrel. We get the light and the particle effect to spawn.